Hey guys, my name is Jesse and this is Jesse Invests. Thanks for checking out the channel. Today we're going to dive into my net worth. We're going to look at where my net worth is at for the month of April. So without further ado, hit that like button down below, hit that sub button, helps me out a lot and gets you subscribed to these monthly updates as well so you can see how we're going and keep up with me in real time. So let's jump in. Okay, so here I have open the net worth calculator, the net worth sheet that I also have a template out for you guys to use for yourself to plug in your own net worth. That's going to be in the description down below, but we're going to jump right in. So we can see here that this is our month by month net worth. In March, we were at a positive 3,400. And as of April, we're at positive 3,200. So our net worth went down by $200. So we could see that last month we had $18,000 in assets, and now I have $18,800 in assets. So I did get $500 more within assets, but my debt went up. Last month I had $14,900 in debt, and this month I have $700 more in debt. So what happens when you get $500 more in cash but $700 more in debt? You're negative 200. That's what happened. So how did this happen? So we can see that this month we had $2,000 in cash and bank accounts. Last month we had $1,000, so that's a good thing. We are up by $1,000 there. $94 in our checking account, really the same as last month. My checking account, for one of my checking accounts, my reserve was up to $1,000 instead of $13, which is way better. $13 was scaring the crap out of me, so I'm glad that we're back up there to $1,000. The high yield savings account, that went up. I marked it as red last month because we actually had to tap into it and take out of our emergency fund for just to pay our bills, because our debts were pretty high, like our short-term credit card payments. I had I calculated wrong, and I needed more money to pay off my credit cards than I thought I needed. So what I had set aside for it wasn't enough. So I did have to take from the high yield savings for that. I believe that was the reason, if I remember correctly. But thankfully, we did not have to do that this month, and we're actually up $300 more in our emergency fund, which is great because it hasn't been at that point since February. So even though we had this down month, we went right back on track to 1,200. Just scooped it right back up to where it was. So that's really good. And then if we go to our investments, last month we had 10.3K, now we have 9.5. So our investments lost $800 in value. Now, if you keep up with any of the videos on the rest of the channel about investing, like my 401k, my Roth IRA videos, my M1 taxable videos, you'll see that they are going down because the market is going down as a whole. So the 401k went up because contributions got higher because we contributed more with paychecks hitting. The Roth IRA went down a lot because that's affected by, again, the stock market. The M1 taxable also went down a little bit. Crypto went down as well. But we do have a new thing happening, which is my wife now has a 401k with her work. So she's starting to contribute to that. So we should see over the months that accumulate and really help speed up this snowball of investing. As far as properties and cars go, the 2020 Hyundai Accent that my wife and I share, it is down from 6K to about 5.9K in value. I do keep up with the Kelley Blue Book value of the car whenever I plug in new month's value into here, just to see where we're at if we were to sell that vehicle. And then also I want to highlight, that's a depreciating asset. It's $5,900 this month. It'd probably be still $5,900 next, but then I could expect it to be $5,800, and then $5,700 over here, and then $5,600 over here, and probably close around 5K at the end of the year. So our other assets is kind of around the same point, a little, maybe $30 higher, with the gold that we have stored for us is up $30 in value because the price of gold went up, which is nice. So now let's get to liabilities. This is the juicy part, right? So last month we had about $15K in debt, and now we have $700 more in debt. So how did we get $700 more in debt in just 1 month? What did we do? Well, the short-term debts went up a lot. That went up $800. So that right there, it's the short-term debts, guys. We had more on our credit cards than we did last month. Private loans, instead of owing $1,300 in private loans, I now owe only $1,000, so that is coming down. My balance on my Visa credit card went up a lot, $150 higher. And then I had no balance on my Discover credit card last month because I paid it all off. But this month I do have almost a $1,000 balance, and I do have the money set aside to pay this. It's just, I had freshly paid it off last month, and now I'm waiting a little while to pay it off. Really no reason, but I want to have the cash on hand until it's time to pay it. I don't love paying credit cards off early. I like paying them off right before it starts accumulating interest. I've never had any credit card interest in my life. So with that, I have the $900 to pay this off right away, but I'm not wanting to yet because I'd rather have $900 in cash in my account. I only want to get rid of it right when I need to. So, but before there's interest, just FYI, before any interest. Amazon Chase balance is also around the same. So the main thing was I have a credit card that's starting to pile up, and that is pulling down my net worth. And then if we look at Hyundai Accent, the car note, instead of 13.4K, it's now 13.3K. This is really high. And for the car to have 100,000 miles on it, it is starting to worry me a little bit. We've never had any problems with it, but I am planning to start funneling some money towards paying this off early in the matter of months. Up here, this private loan, I have to pay $260 a month towards this. That's my payment. And by August, it should be the last payment. Let's see, let's do some quick maths here. So about $800 will be owed in May, about $550 in June, about $250 will owe in July, and then August will owe $0. Yeah, so around August or September, I will no longer have this private loan, and I'll have $260 a month freed up in cash flow. I plan to take some of that and put it to help pay down this car note, because at the rate that we are paying it down, just doing the minimum payments required for the note, it is a really far payoff date. It's something like 2029 or 2028. And I don't know if I want to be paying on that for 4 more years when we have 100K on it already, and we share it. So we put about 30K miles on the vehicle per year. So if we do the math there, it would be at probably 220,000 miles or so before it gets paid off without any extra boost. So a lot of cars don't make it to 200K. I think the standard is that you expect a car to get past 100, and then after that, you are kind of expecting it to have small problems pop up. And if you can get to 200, it's great. So I don't want the car to be scrapped while we still have to pay it. That's a nightmare that I already am dealing with. I already dealt with in the past and don't want to deal with again. So I will be putting money towards that. And that's about it, guys. So those are my thoughts about those spending things. And as for the credit card payments, I will go back on this one more time. I put everything on a credit card. So whenever I swipe for anything, gas, food, whatever, that is what is going to this payment. So my liabilities are higher because of the credit card spending was more. It's not because I bought more clothes or more fashionable things like that. It's because my necessities were higher. It could be that my heat and my light bill were higher, which I put on the credit card. It could be that I needed more groceries because I had time off work and I usually get free food at work, and now I had to eat more, so I had to buy more things. I don't have a breakdown necessarily of like, this isn't a budget breakdown, right? This isn't, oh, I spent $100 more on food this month, $100 more on lights this month. This isn't a budget breakdown, but more of an overarching picture of debts and assets. I may do a budget breakdown. Let me know if you want that. But just let you know that this is encapsulated in this is everything that I spend in the day-to-day. with maybe there was a few things in there I didn't necessarily need. I bought an extra concert tickets, and that's what made that higher, things like that. But mostly about 80% of that is required spending needs. So that's where we're at. And then last but not least, we're going to look at one other thing here, which is this chart, which is one of my favorite things to view here. You can see that the green section is my assets and the red are my debts or my liabilities. So we can see that when we entered 2025, we had a little bit more assets than liabilities. We were slightly positive. And then we closed that gap even more, or opened that gap, I guess we should say, in February. We had a little bit even more assets than liabilities. In March, we really expanded that. Our assets dropped only a little bit while our liabilities really dropped. So now we had a lot more room to breathe in March. And then it's starting to look like it's coming back up. Our liabilities went up, but so did our assets. But our liabilities went up a little bit quicker than our assets did. So this is where we are at right now. We have a gap of $3,200 in between our assets and liabilities. So my goal, if I had a goal for this year, it would probably be to get to $10,000 in net worth. I think that would be really cool. I think that is possible. I think it's definitely a goal. It's a little out there, but I think that we could see 4,000 to 5,000 through the summer, and then maybe 7 or 8 by the end of the year. But 10,000 is a nice little goal, which I think could help when I get that 260 cleared up from that private debt. I think we could take that 260, invest it, and start to steamroll towards that 10K goal. But yeah, that's it for today, guys. I appreciate you guys watching. Hit that sub button, hit that like button. Let me know if there's anything more you want to see. And yeah, peace out. Thanks, guys.